Enough of that. Right, so welcome to Jungle Princess 23. I'm your host, Clara Scott, and enjoy watching the Clara Scott Show. So, you probably just saw my review of The Beatles and Help, and as I said, it's not one of my favourite movies of all time, but I think it's still pretty good, and it doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and it's a pretty impressive film to be shot in 16 days. Also, what I forgot to mention was that there was a missing scene with Frankie Howard and Wendy Richard, and I was thinking about doing a reaction to that. I've not seen it, but I'm going to think about reacting to it. So, coming up today in this video, I will be talking about a short film directed by the same guy, Sylvain Chomet, who directed The Triplets of Belleville, called The Old Lady and the Pigeons. So this I first saw when I was 12 at Christmas 2017 when I discovered Sylvain Chomet and I watched the Triplets of Belleville. The Triplets of Belleville is not one of my favourite films, to be downright honest. I think how Chomet portrays actual life is quite interesting, and his interesting view. I think that's really quite cool because pretty much most of our world is like that. So I saw this short film not too long before New Year's Eve. It's about a 30-minute long Christmas special. There was premiered on the BBC. BBC 2, I think it was, or 1. I'm not sure. And it was about, as I said, 30 minutes long. And I think it was on the TV in 1997 or 8. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to check the date again. So the short film is kind of, I guess, your typical Chomet film, kind of like animation style. It's quite a bit different from... No, what am I saying? Quite a lot different from The Triplets of Belleville. There will be a dark secret coming. So, it starts off in Paris, kind of like The Triplets of Belleville does. And the animation is very, very similar to The Triplets of Belleville. And to be honest, they're both French. Although, it does kind of, do American voices. Because right at the beginning of the film, it shows these quite chubby, overweight American tourists in Paris. And you've just got to watch the American Tourist and find out for yourself. So the story follows a vulture-like policeman who lives in a horrible apartment. You could just see just roams around the streets of Paris. But what he's really looking for is something to eat. Because as we can tell, a lot of people in the film are quite chubby compared to him. So he's desperately trying to find something to eat, technically. And then... well, you just have to think of how he became so poor into not eating. So he discovers this old lady in the park, and this old lady is probably comes across kind of your typical lovely grandma who cooks you nice food. But she's got a bit more towards her than you'd probably think she has. So she comes across as quite a sweet old lady, and she loves to feed pigeons with food that's not necessarily good for them. Cakes, chicken, you name it. So he then has this idea to construct a pigeon costume in order to get some food off the old lady. Technically, this must have started the evolution of furry. I'm not sure what did, but just find out for yourselves. That's all I could say. So he constructs a pigeon mask and he just wears his suit because I don't think the old lady could see very well. She will have mistaken him for a pigeon. He goes to her apartment and straight away he kind of puts on an obnoxious behaviour. But nonetheless, she gives him so many nice meals and they do look really delicious. So he keeps coming back and he starts to get a bit chubbier along the way. So pretty much every night I think he's gone for a meal, he comes back and dances in his apartment. And so then he does this throughout autumn towards Christmas time. And that is just where our story starts to take a bit on the eerie side. So what happens is, It's Christmas time. He's had a lot to drink. And it's cold. Yeah. And, don't know how you can put this scene, really. So he's had a bit of food and stuff. And, yeah, he's just massively fat at this time. So he wants to get some more whiskey from the late old lady's kitchen. So he goes in and he finds the whiskey and then he faints on the floor. So he then gets himself up again and he hears this really weird noise. So he sees this old lady's workshop and he sees her sharpening a pair of scissors. And throughout the short film, every time he goes up to the apartment, he sees this quite chubby, not very pretty maid. I don't know, she might have a nice personality, you never know. And she just kind of keeps staring at him every time he goes up the stairs and makes his way to her part of the apartment. So this lady who's a maid technically, comes in and is dressed as a cat. And then he starts to panic because in reality, cats eat pigeons. And then the old lady starts to get a bit angry because I think she finds out and that he was looking at her and it kind of foiled her plan for what she was trying to do. And I think the policeman and the maid were both kind of trying to tease the old lady, so I do feel a bit sorry for the old lady in this way, because she probably can't see very well, so she probably mistakes the maid for a cat and the man for a pigeon. So as you would expect, she's trying to fatten it up to feed to the lady dressed as the cat. So he runs out, he tries to get out the door, he can't, and he tries to reveal who he really is. But luckily for him, he falls out the window and he makes his way home. And that's kind of the end of the story, but if you watch the short film, it's a weird short film is all I can put it. The art style is beautiful, the animation is gorgeous, and I'm trying to get a little bit more into the trip to Belleville. I think it's an alright film. It's a little bit gory for me, if I'm downright honest. So, I mean, it's a nice 30-minute long Christmas special. Another video I'm thinking about doing is one for Famous Fred, which is a bit like Oldie and the Pigeons, in terms of animation, not in terms of story, no. But I hope you enjoyed this review. It's a nice short film. Well, not a nice one, but it's a good 30-minute Christmas show, I guess. So thanks for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. So bye!